All right. Hello and welcome, everybody, to Harnessing the Power of AI for Food Industry Transformation. I was going to start things off by putting a few AI-generated jokes up on screen, but most of them are really actually not that good, which is interesting and useful to think about AI at this point, though it's incredibly quickly growing and impactful. It's also almost like it's just been born. Like you could, if AI were a human right now, you could think of it as a toddler or maybe even like a baby, like my 18-month-old daughter. So all the things that AI can do now, while they are really impressive, and we'll talk about them, we'll see a bunch of them today, are nothing compared to what's going to be coming 24 months from now, 12 months from now, even 6 months from now. Things are going to look radically different. So thank you for joining us here today. My name is Ethan Soloviev. I'm the Chief Innovation Officer at HowGood, and I'm going to be guiding us through a bit of a journey to understand artificial intelligence, its impacts on the world and the food system, and really what you can do with it going forward. To start off, I'll do a quick introduction to HowGood, and then we'll look at an agenda for the day. HowGood is a sustainability intelligence platform focused on the food and agriculture industry. We have the world's largest product and ingredient sustainability database, pulling from a huge number of different data sources and certifications. We can look at carbon, we can look at biodiversity, we can look at your science-based targets for carbon or nature, we can give you suggestions about how to improve your food products, and we can power claims that you put on pack to show to retailers and consumers. We act as a social network for food and agriculture impact. It's a SaaS platform, a software as a service platform, and a data as a service platform that leads to deep engagement and deep action focused on carbon, nature, and people, especially having to do with human rights. These key areas ensure that we have a holistic look at impact. And we've been building this perspective for over 17 years, working in the industry. We have over 600 different data sources and feeds flowing into the platform, over 90,000 different on-farm impact factors and emissions factors for food ingredients, and a huge number, over 2.1 million global food products that have been assessed, along with more supplier-specific ingredient information. It is the world's largest sustainability database for food products and ingredients. This excellent data leads to an excellent set of customers. So HowGood works with 6 of the 10 largest food companies in the world. Many of you are on the call today. Welcome, and thank you for coming. We also work with some of the smallest, coolest, most interesting regenerative companies, and work across the full value system. So we work with retailers like Ahold Delhaize, like Giant Eagle. We work with food service providers like Chipotle and others, Chartwells, which is in higher education, part of the larger Compass Group, manufacturers like Danone, General Mills, WK Kellogg's. We also, on the suppliers and ingredient suppliers side, companies like Ingredion and Kerry trust our data to make better impacts in what they're selling upstream to the manufacturers who are selling it to the retailers who get it out to the consumer. So it is an integrated social network. Cisco is a major new partner of ours. And they've asked us to do a huge amount of detailed carbon footprinting. They have millions of products that they sell all around the world, and have asked us to really look into that in a deep way, along with engaging with a huge number of suppliers to Cisco. We're going to need AI and ML capabilities ramping up in order to pull it all off. In short, the 4 pillars of our platform help you measure carbon, reduce the impacts of carbon, communicate the reductions you've done, and collaborate with your suppliers through supplier engagement to understand their impacts and make better purchasing and manufacturing decisions. Here's what we're going to talk about, shipping off of the basic HowGood intro and to look at AI. We're going to dig into food systems in the age of AI. We'll look at 3 different levels of artificial intelligence effects. We'll take a look at some survey results that from a survey that HowGood's run, and then really go into specific solutions that you can use for design and impact, as well as wrapping up with a 1-slide rubric that's sort of a how-to guide for food industry transformation that helps you figure out what should I do given what I want to achieve. The wheel is up on the screen there, along with the light bulb, and I've got a nice old Apple computer there. Each of these share in common a potent trait in that they are known as general purpose technologies. General purpose technologies are technologies that are so impactful, so powerful, that they change entire economies of nations and even the globe as a whole. Generative AI is one of those general purpose technologies. They're known to have the potential to drastically alter societies through their impact on pre-existing economic and social structures. I've got the ChatGPT logo here, sort of because it looks like a wheel, and that's a useful parallel. Of course, ChatGPT and OpenAI is not the only outfit out there, but it brought into our public consciousness the power of generative AI to have a natural language interaction in hundreds of languages around the world, to be able to query the mass of information and knowledge that was out there and put it to use for many, many different use cases. This is extremely significantly disruptive. Somewhere between 40 to 60% of all jobs right now, according to a recent study, will be touched or disrupted in some way by AI. There was another study done that looked over the last 80 years, looked back to 1940, and it showed that the growth in jobs over that time and sort of employment in the global economy, 80% of the growth in jobs came from jobs that literally did not exist in 1940. So it's not necessarily that AI will take your job, it's that AI is going to produce such profound seismic shifts that 10, 15, 20 years from now, maybe all of us will need different jobs. This is very significant, and it can lead to sort of seismic shifts even in geopolitical power. At the same time, there's a thing that's happening with AI where it's a little scary. Even some of what I just said might seem a little scary. If you look at the headlines, there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of, is it good or evil? What's scary about it? Will it benefit or harm workers? Here's some predictions about bad AI. There's deep fakes that are coming. All of this can be quite imposing, and I've seen it produce a reaction in people where they're sort of like, I don't want anything to do with this. I'm going to walk away from this. I think that's a mistake, and certainly it's not what's being done by many actors in the economy. So just as an example, extractive industries that are out there are going full on into artificial intelligence. There's a headline, how multi-billion-dollar investments in AI are driving oil and gas sector innovation. That's kind of a euphemism for it. What does it mean? Okay, Shell to use new AI technology in deep sea oil exploration to find more places to drill. The power of AI delivering promises for miners adopting new technology. So extractive industries are rapidly adopting AI. The forces of the global economy, of global capitalism, will be superpowered by AI. It makes everything more efficient and productive. And so if business as usual gets more efficient and productive, what's going to happen? Also, the military. There's a fascinating report called AI Joe, the dangers of artificial intelligence in the military. And then getting a little closer to home in our food realm, AI in commodity trading. I know one multinational that has used AI to make decisions about purchasing a particular high value, high impact commodity based on economic factors, making trades every second on this particular material. Now that could lead to great economic efficiencies for sure. But if that algorithm isn't taking into account the carbon impact, the human risk and labor rights, the biodiversity impacts, then we risk for having a super powered optimizer like AI that's focused on business as usual extraction and global damage. So the question becomes, how can the food industry use AI to reverse those effects? How can we put a balance on everything that's happening there? We're certainly not going to do it if we stick our heads in the sand and don't start playing with AI and don't start looking for the use cases. And most of you, if you're here, are not planning to do that. Food production currently is accelerating the climate crisis, but AI and other emerging technologies could turn things around. What could that look like? There's many ways it could transform the industry. I think there is a role for AI in a more sustainable food system, from everywhere, food safety to product renovation and development, and a myriad of use cases that we'll look at today. To go back to this headline, AI won't replace humans, but humans with AI will replace humans without AI. So those individuals in companies like yours that adopt artificial intelligence will gain an advantage in the market. There is a business imperative here. It's up to you, it's up to us to figure out how do we make that business imperative align with sustainability and push us ideally beyond sustainability and towards regeneration. One quick note on language. I'm going to say AI here throughout the day. When I mean a number of different things, I mean the sort of artificial intelligence versions that have been around for a long time. I mean machine learning and some of the data science connected to machine learning. And I also mean generative AI. Most of the time I'll be focusing on generative AI because it's the newest, most potent. It's the thing that makes it a general purpose technology because it's so easy to use. But just know that when I'm saying AI, in some cases, I'll be referring not just to generative AI. So you could gain an advantage in the market and gain an advantage for Earth. How do we start? I want to put forward a framework that we've been developing that's called 3 levels of artificial intelligence effects. As we go up the levels, there will be an increasing potential for food systems change. So there's 3 levels, and one of them, the first one, is efficiency. Now, efficiency is what we've spoken about so far. Generative AI will make everything faster and quicker. Anything you're currently doing, you'll be able to do it in a tiny fragment of the time. This is going to drive productivity gains across the economy from your business in many sectors, but also in each stage of a product life cycle. In each stage of a food system, there will be enhanced efficiencies and things happening faster with less human touch because of this level of efficiency. So that is one of the major effects that AI can have, and it's one that it's already starting to have and already starting to happen. The next level up, what we'd like to see more of, is a level of innovation, where AI can actually drive and power the creation of new things, new ideas that we wouldn't have thought of before. Even, the potential of new business models or new products or new flavors or new farming practice ideas or new locations to source things from. Innovation is important, and we start to see the potential of it with things like the image generators that can really push our edges to what's new. We see some innovation happening in the food system through AI, but mostly efficiency. And the last level, which we barely see anything in, is the level of transformation. Here is the real potential where we could go from an extractive global economy to a net positive, a regenerative global food ecosystem. We'll need to get to this level of transformation where we find radically new business models, radically new ways of organizing information and organizing with each other to fundamentally shift some of the forces that are driving carbon emissions, destruction of nature, and abuse of human rights around the world. I really want more transformation. I have seen maybe almost none of it happening through AI yet, but by putting it up there, I'm sort of saying, let's figure out how to get there together. We're going to do a little poll right now, which our team is going to pop up in the chat, which is to ask you, what level are you already working at? And then where do you want to be working a year from now? So are you working on efficiency? Are you working on innovation? Are you going to transformation? So I'll just take a moment here to take a breath and see if some of the responses come in here. They start to come in. Okay, great. Really interesting. Keep them coming. We've got 60 people filling in. We'll wait a minute more. I don't even know. How do I actually show this poll? I'm not sure if there's a quick, easy way to do it, but it's a simple poll, so I'll read it off in just a minute more. And as we wait for that, let's just see if The other thing that I'm going to mention before we read out the results of this poll is that we have a couple guest speakers who are going to kind of pipe in today, who we've been talking to about AI, folks from the industry, who are going to just give little sort of 60-second perspectives to feed into the bigger picture that we're weaving together here. So I'm gonna read off the results of the poll, and then I'm gonna invite our colleague Maxine, who I believe is here or was here from Kraft Heinz, to give a little.
I'm here.
Okay, yeah. Hi Maxine, great. So here's the results of the poll, and then I'm going to ask you a question. The results of the poll: 84% of folks who are on the call right now say that you're using it for efficiency, 28% are using it for innovation, and 6% say they are using it for transformation. We're going to find out later who you are. Actually, we don't even have time to find that out. I want to hear, send us an email or tell us, AI@HowGood, how you're using it for transformation. And there's a significant desire of folks to move beyond efficiency and towards transformation and innovation. So great, thank you for doing that live. Maxine, if you could give a minuscule introduction to yourself, and then say, from your perspective at Kraft Heinz, what's the potential you're seeing with AI? Why are you moving towards and investing in it?
Yeah, absolutely. So, hello everyone. My name is Maxine Roman. I work in the North American R&D organization at Kraft Heinz, leading innovation, collaborations, and partnerships. So, personally, when we think about AI at Kraft Heinz, we see a lot of potential in the way that it could potentially revolutionize the way we do business. So, for example, we can think about product development. How can AI analyze consumer data and trends to identify new product opportunities and optimize our recipes? An example of this where we've done some investment is our joint venture with Notco, where we're leveraging their AI tool to optimize and develop plant-based formulas. And we've definitely seen reduction in time to get from initial recipe, initial prototype up to scale product, which is super exciting. Another area that we've been doing a lot of, we think there's a lot of potential is supply chain management. How can AI optimize inventory management, predict demand fluctuations, streamline logistics? We've done some work with Microsoft to enhance supply chain visibility to increase our efficiency. And we've added over $30 million in sales just by applying AI in that instance. Some other areas that, there are potentials in the future too are looking at marketing and sales. How can AI personalize marketing campaigns, target advertising more effectively, improve customer relationship management? And then from a manufacturing standpoint, how can AI automate quality control processes, predict equipment failures, optimize production scheduling? So there's just so much potential in looking at how do you drive efficiency and innovation. And Kraft Heinz is definitely, taking note of that with our partnership with Microsoft and figuring out how do we develop those tools that help really bring our organization into the potential of what it could be with leveraging AI.
Awesome. Thank you, Maxine. Great to have this industry insight. And some of what you said, just like the poll we just did, are actually a bit of a preview of what's to come. So thanks for joining and sharing your perspective.
Absolutely.
Along with the small survey that we just did, HowGood did a larger AI survey across the industry. And so I'm going to share anonymized responses from organizations with annual revenues of over 300 billion. We asked, what do you want to achieve through AI? 100% of them said they wanted to execute and get more efficient using AI, and 30% said they're already doing it. So actually, the group on this call has a higher percentage already doing this sort of execution and efficiency, even than was polled. 88% said they wanted to innovate, 53% said they wanted to transform, and 65% of 300 billion in annual revenue around the world, people at those companies who look at this said, well, I'm just curious and I want to know more. I'm maybe not sure quite what to do, but this is important. So this is good news for everyone working on AI right now. We also asked, what are your main restraints when considering AI? And here's what came back. I thought very, very interesting. The vast majority of people did not think AI was going to be too expensive. Only 20% thought, this is going to be too expensive. Nor did they think that AI wasn't going to have the capabilities they needed. The main constraints, the main restraints they were looking at was, I think AI has too many errors and hallucinates. I think there are issues with confidentiality and IP. And by and large, I don't have time. It's not even that it's not in my purview. Many of the people we interviewed say, yeah, I can make decisions about AI. I don't think it's going to cost too much. I just don't have time to figure out exactly what I should do and where I should move forward. Based on that, as part of why we're doing this webinar, to bring together all the learning that we've been doing and everything we've been hearing into one place to help everyone accelerate and move forward. We also asked, what are the business critical pain points that you'd like to solve with AI? And we saw a number of really great points here, especially from the sustainability perspective. Folks looking to do product formulation and optimize production processes. How do we do scope 3 reporting faster? How do we streamline responses to customer requests? This is going back to that network diagram we looked at that at the beginning. The communication between organizations still, it takes a lot of time and a lot of human hours right now. Is there a way with AI and more global standards like PACT that we can quickly and seamlessly pass sustainability data around amongst our companies? I think there's huge potential there. So by and large, your survey results mirrored the industry, and I think this is good news for all of us digging in on AI. Let's look at now a framework where we can sort of see all the different places that you might put AI to work, and then we'll call out some of the key solutions that we're seeing out there in terms of how do we achieve efficiency, innovation, and maybe transformation. So the framework that we'll put across the top, looking at the food system, is sort of it's showing linear. I wish there was a way to not show it linear. You know that it's more of a web or a network. There's no such thing as a supply chain. It's more like a supply system. But we'll walk from initial agricultural production on the left side through the processes of sourcing and procurement. At some point, there's sort of product conception and formulation to make a food product. That then goes to the manufacturing and packaging stages, which then, when completed, is passed to the sort of marketing and sales side of things. This goes through logistics and supply chain, which gets to retailing. And then also finally to those moments of sort of eating, whether it's at home or in restaurant or in your workplace, and then what's happening with the sort of waste and the potential upcycling of those nutrients. So for each of these, there's a place, there's a way that you can step in and focus your energy to get to the deeper solutions. And you're also very likely going to need help and going to get to work side by side with some other folks working on solutions out there in the industry. So I'm going to just highlight, I probably won't speak in detail to each logo I'll put up here, but I'll point out what some of the key players are in terms of providing AI solutions at each step in this journey. So on ag production, we've got Climate AI, who's making 10, 20, and 30-year models of how climate is likely to change. We're working closely with them alongside with Regrow Ag, which uses artificial intelligence and machine learning in their regenerative agriculture approaches to monitoring, reporting, and verification work in the supply system. So if you're working towards or on regenerative agriculture, their AI systems can help power that up. And then we see some interesting sort of broader examples of folks like the Farmers Business Network, who released last year an AI chatbot. It's called Norm. Norman Borlaug, who was one of the founders of the Green Revolution and really pushed forward the use of synthetic agricultural inputs to push forward productivity. So they named an AI chatbot Norm, and it's essentially, they trained it with huge amounts of agronomist and company chemical input information, along with weather data and other things. So as a farmer, like I am a small scale farmer in upstate New York, I get texts from Farmers Business Network every couple of days offering me sales on the next fertilizer or chemical. I can also chat with Norm and ask him what I should be doing. I think this is a fascinating use of generative AI. I would much rather, or I would also like to see an AI chatbot not trained on traditional monoculture agronomy, but trained on, agroecology, agroforestry, sustainability journals, smallholder farmers, so that we can also learn how to go towards regenerative agriculture using the power of AI. As I go through here, I'd love to also hear your thoughts and ideas about what other solutions you have used or considered. I've got a bunch of them up here, but you might be working with a company, I've heard of a company that we don't have on here, so we'd love to hear them. Just drop them in the chat and we'll sort of add it all together and share it out. On the sourcing and procurement side, there's companies like Kielvar and EcoTrace for product conception and formulation. This is a really exciting area. AI Palette has amazing sort of trend recognition for ingredients out there in the ecosystem. There's another one, TasteWise and TasteGPT, which I've slotted a little later in the marketing and sales, but they have some overlapping capabilities to help understand and improve formulations. Pippa is another one just getting going that incorporates sustainability data. HowGood, of course, can help on the food sustainability side of things. And then we have some interesting ones that put this in between. This is the logo for Midjourney, which is an image generator. I know many product formulators are starting to generate images of a new product idea even before they're like going to bench with it. It's just to ideate and see what would a sandwich with baobab leaves on it look like and produce a visual image of it. Midjourney is a very low cost, that's like a $10 a month thing that you can get access to. And then folks like AI Palette and others are incorporating that image generation and even ideating on different ideas. On the manufacturing and packaging side, there's so much to say here, and we actually have on the call today Oshin, the CEO of Keychain, which is a just out of stealth contract manufacturing solution. So Oshin, I'll get to you in just a minute after we kind of go through this slide, but we'll pick up some of your perspectives on this. We've also got folks like Always AI, and there's a huge amount in manufacturing and packaging. On the marketing and sales side, we have outfits like TasteWise. They have a TasteGPT platform that allows you to customize your marketing for products based on consumer demand, what they're asking for in the marketplace, even power up personalization and do A/B testing for different segments to really hone in your understanding of the broad world and make the messaging fit for your product heading out there. And then I tried to put some easier tools on here. Canva has an AI generator where if you want to speed up on your marketing and sales, simple tools that are out there, relatively low cost, can really enhance the efficiency of things. This is also where I'll pop in some of the key, standard chatbots, you would call them, both OpenAI, Microsoft Copilot, Anthropic's Claude, Google's Gemini as well, which even for free or low cost, now there's in many companies, there's issues with what you can and can not do at your workplace, but even for playing with these, just engaging with them on an ongoing basis can be very powerful, especially in generating content for marketing and sales. On the logistics and supply chain side, you have powerhouse players like IBM with the supply chain intelligence and sustainability suite, and some really interesting startups like Index Biosystems, who are doing invisible biological barcodes attached to anything that you can't see, but can be read, and feeding into the sort of IoT AI tracking of goods around the world. On the retailing side, you have outfits like Trax and Shelf Engine, which help with a number of different things. And then I'll just say on the eating and waste and upcycling side, Orbisk and Too Good To Go are both excellent food waste solutions using computer vision to understand what's being wasted and provide feedback. And then across all of them, I'd say there's some cross-cutting and sort of foundational organizations that are worth looking at. The AI Institute for Food Systems is sort of an academic side. And then you have, as Maxine mentioned, the Microsofts, the Googles, the AWSs of the world, all of whom are starting to work with especially large companies to focus in on what is the core enterprise data lake and architecture. And instead of maybe using 16 different software solutions for each individual need that you have, is there more through generative AI that we can do pulling from your own internal data, confidential, secure, but sending it into business intelligence or procurement or decision making? These players are already big in this and will continue to get larger as we go forward. So let's see if there's a few things. Okay, nobody's got any new ones. I'm really interested in what we missed, so love to hear it either in the chat or otherwise. If there's other solutions you're looking at or have tried, would be great. We'll keep adding to and updating this list. Let's go to Keychain. Oshin, if you could pop on. And the question I had for you was, you actually already fully disrupted one industry using technology. I'd love to hear why and how AI will be transformative for food in 60 seconds. You're up.
Thanks so much, Ethan. I feel like that's an enormous amount of pressure. I'll just find a way to condense everything. As Ethan mentioned, I started Handy, which was like Uber for handyman and cleaners, and then I was the CEO at Angie's List, where we applied technology to solving the problem of how to match homeowners with contractors. I think you've put up such an amazing slide here that really captures the way in which AI is going to be applied to all the different areas of food. The one we're focused on is this manufacturing and packaging element, which is to say that one of the hardest things that brands and retailers find is where product can actually be made. And that's such a multifaceted, incredibly challenging problem with so much structured data. And wherever there's structured or unstructured data at mass or en masse, it's a great place for AI to play. And what we're doing is we're applying AI to the problem of where can you get a product made? So today you can go to keychain.com and you can actually look up any one of 750,000 products, and we can tell you where that product can be made. So we can really zone in and say, this product can be made at exactly this manufacturer. And then in addition to that, we can augment that with even more information around pricing, around trend, around how that product has historically been doing. And I think, if you zoom all the way out, we're solving one piece of the problem. The most likely scenario here, I think if you go like 5-10 years out, is really a way for AI to weave across all these different things here so that we can have a more unified way of looking at all the parts that go into putting food on our shelves.
Awesome.
So thank you very much, Ethan.
Yeah, thanks, Oshin, and definitely check out what Keychain is doing for any interest around manufacturing. It's quite impressive. One place that HowGood is also innovating is really bringing sustainability data into all of these realms. And so we have just a very brief thing that I'm going to show you here from our platform. It's just about a minute long, where we've been thinking about how do you make sustainability data and put it at people's fingertips so that they can optimize and improve products. What I'm going to show you is not ready for any of my customers on the call. This is like early. It's like, I would even call it pre-alpha, but it's the type of potency that you can have when you put high quality data in play along product formulation. Here is HowGood's platform, Lattice. I'm going to our new chatbot, Tara, and asking it a question of where can I source the lowest carbon milk? Because I've got a yogurt here I'm working on. It's pulling up from the database and saying, here's the main locations where you could actually get that from and what their carbon footprint is, so that I can actually go back into this product, this yogurt I'm working on, and change it. I'm going to select Washington there, and that's going to switch out the carbon footprint, and just doing that, drop the carbon footprint of the product 5%. So I can go back to the chatbot and say, that's great. What else can I do to decarbonize the product? And it's going to pull up some other ideas. It's saying you can choose a different sourcing locations for the main ingredients. I did that. You can swap out ingredients. You can look for different suppliers. I went through and made some of those changes. And then, it's improved the product even further. You can see it down to 0.36. Then I'm asking it, okay, great. That's useful. Can you create a product carbon footprint of this improved product? And it's basically saying, yep, sure, just click here. It'll produce kind of like a mini LCA or product carbon footprint report that will generate everything you just did, packaged up and ready to send out to your customers. So this is some of the potential that we're starting to see, combining our sustainability data with the types of tasks that individuals are facing every day. Okay, so that's that. There's a diversity of different tools and different ways that software tools are being used out there. The key for you all is, how do we figure out how to assess what's out there and maximize impact? So here, what I'm going to share is a rubric for harnessing AI for food industry transformation. The starting question that you would ask yourself to look at this is, what level of effect do you want to have? So we'll use that same sort of levels diagram and then choose based on where we land. Then it'll be able to give us some summary guidance, some specific recommended tools, and a bit of a sense of what collaboration is required. As you go up this level, the amount of investment you'll have to put in will increase, but the amount of ROI you're going to get out of it also increases. So what level? If you're just curious and are interested, I've got some ideas of what you can do. If you want to be working on efficiency or innovation or transformation, here's the guidance. So for curiosity, my summary guidance is spend 5 minutes every day on every new platform that you can find, anything that offers you a little trial or a little demo. Get into, I like to compare ChatGPT and Copilot and Claude and Gemini side by side and see which one writes the best jokes or has the best responses or has the most accurate and source cited information. I spend at least 5 minutes every day just messing around, and it's really opening my eyes to what's out there, and it brings it up in my mind when I'm looking at other things to look for more impactful applications. So any of the basic ones, especially Midjourney for image generation, is incredible, really fascinating. $10 a month will get you some unbelievable things you can build. And then collaboration, you don't really need any collaboration, just go do this. Any level you can do this curiosity one. If you want to focus on efficiency, then you need to use fit-for-purpose software. Try everything is kind of building from the curiosity. This is like anytime you see something, anytime a new opportunity, or like everything on Google, on Microsoft right now, there's popping up and it's saying, do you want to try out our AI beta? Just try it, play with it. It'll keep building your capability here, but then use fit for purpose software. We just had the example of Keychain, but we really recommend some of those great players out there: Tastewise, Climate AI, AI Palette, Regrow Ag. Some of these folks are doing really excellent work, and we can help you find the right one for exactly what you want to do. Make the investment to do a pilot, do a trial, and see how it can accelerate things. Maxine was speaking to $30 million, benefit from some of what they've looked at. The collaboration required will be both software specific, so whoever you choose to work with, but then also internal. You have to work inside your company with your IT teams, with your procurement teams, with whoever exactly you want to work on in order to make this go well. So you'll need some internal collaboration. If you want to go beyond efficiency, which the majority of you who are on said you wanted to do, I think that innovation is really going to be driven. You can get bits of it from individual softwares, and those are important. And many of those, I think, will be parts of the solution. But I think the greatest innovation is going to come from what I've called here a multi-layer rapid AI integration, especially from the enterprise core. So I sort of alluded to this earlier, that gathering all of the data of your company into one place and then partnering with some of the bigger players will help to get it in a format where you can start being more cross-disciplinary. You want to use RAG architecture, so that's retrieval augmented generation. So this is part of what I was talking about, where instead of just using ChatGPT, which has who knows what it's been trained on, you can focus large language models, generative AI, to pull directly from the information that is inside of your company and be providing you real-time results on sales, on past opportunities and failures, and be answering with a definitive nature, using the power of AI to make the conversation easier, but relying on core internal data. So RAG architectures will help with that, plus the general purpose AI tools. HowGood's not going to build its own chatbot. The chatbot I showed you comes from Intercom, who we work with for customer success. Microsoft Copilot is going to show up in PowerPoint, is going to show up in their business intelligence suite. It's going to be everywhere that you can ask a general purpose AI tool, and it will be getting your specific information. And then I think there's going to be some mesh between that sort of internal stuff, and some of these software companies are so far ahead that it would take internal companies a long time to build them. So Google, AWS, IBM, Microsoft are great tools to look at there, and you're going to need that cross-discipline external collaboration. And then the last level of transformation, I'm going to go a little out on the edge here in what I'm recommending, because I still don't actually see much of this really happen. So my guidance and thinking, if you really want to do transformation, is you're going to pick the system that you want to transform, like understand what it is. And if it's about agriculture or manufacturing, really go like be in that place, be on the farm, be in the field, be in the factory. You have to immerse in it while using AI, while asking your chatbot questions, while thinking about how it connects to the work you've done on the lower levels. There's not really a particular tool or place that helps you do that yet, except some of the convenings and the venues, the conferences that will get us together to really push the edge. But too often we find that conferences are just sort of repeating what people have done as opposed to looking forward into the future. There's one that I'll selfishly promote, which is Regen House, which is a moving venue and experience immersive space. We'll be looking at regenerative agriculture, regenerative food systems, and how do you mesh that together with AI? And that will be in partnership with folks like AWS and others who want to push this edge of how do we really do transformation. Collaboration is going to be different on this one. You can't just collaborate in your industry. I'm going to go out on a limb and propose that we're going to need to think about how we collaborate better with ecosystems and with the indigenous and ancestral ways of thinking that actually put the earth in a pretty good shape before the modern era started causing so much damage. So I think in order to transform going forward, we're going to need to disrupt ourselves from our standard ways of thinking in these bottom three levels and push to the edge of something new. So that's the rubric. We'll be happy to share this with you afterwards as initial guidance. I want you to, we're going to hear from one more person here. We're going to hear from Taylor at Traditional Medicinals. I want you to think for a minute about where you want to aim and what you are wanting to achieve in terms of that efficiency, innovation, or transformation. And then just give yourself a second to think, what am I going to do next? Of everything I've heard here, how am I going to take this forward? Where do I want to aim? Where do I need some help? What am I going to do next? Think on that. And then Taylor, if you want to pop on and just say, you know, you're a mid-sized traditional medicinals, mid-sized company, deeply committed to sustainability. What are you going to do next? Where you want to put artificial intelligence to work? 60 seconds.
Yeah, thanks, Ethan. Yeah, for folks who don't know Traditional Medicinals, we're a herbal tea company located in Sonoma County. You know, we're a small sustainability team of 2 here at our organization. And so for us, we're really looking to move out of curiosity and into leveraging AI for efficiency, specifically AI-driven emissions analytics. You know, we're dealing with large data sets. We have a very complex supply web, over 80 different ingredients from 40 different countries. So as we're pulling in those metrics, really love to use AI to leverage insights, look for new emissions factors, help us update in the background, almost like an AI-driven assistant for sustainability data. We're also looking to validate our data to make sure that we have a sanity check. We can't always work with consultants all the time. So having AI to leverage would be a huge tool. And then also scenario planning. And I think that gets kind of into that innovation transformation side where how can AI look at our data, give us tips on where to head next and transform things in our supply and drive sustainability improvements, whether that's carbon, biodiversity, or water. So we're really excited to see what developments come out.
Thank you, Taylor. And for that note of practicality, and I love some of your thinking of like, we can't use consultants forever. We need to speed up this process. So hopefully you all are thinking about your specific next steps and what you'll take from here. I'm going to wrap up with just 2 kind of final thoughts and offers to go further on this journey for you. The first one that I want to do is actually point out a resource and somebody who has helped push my thinking forward in this realm, which is Mike Lee from the Future Food Market, is about to publish, I think probably first of its kind in the world book. That's on the future of food. It has 4 scenarios of very different futures that we could see. And this book has been significantly generated, the images through AI, and Mike's newsletter, Substack, is just incredible at pushing the edges of what could come next and how in the exciting ways and in the scary ways, artificial intelligence and robotics are going to move their way into the food system. So I highly recommend checking out Mike's Substack, but then also this book that's coming out soon is going to be beautiful. I think you can pre-order it, and please take a look and let's push forward together. And then my final thought that I want to offer on the next step is, I don't usually do this, and my team was sort of like, you can't say this, you can't offer this, you don't have time for this. But I'm so excited about artificial intelligence and what generative AI can do that I'm offering myself up for AI consulting for free. Send us an email at ai@howgood.com if you want to talk with me for a bit about what are your particular AI needs, what have I seen that's really useful, and where could we help stitch things up so that you can have hopefully efficient, innovative, and maybe even get to transformative impact. I'm glad to do that with you. Limited space. We'll of course be working with our partners and customers on this first, but love to hear from you if you'd like to dig in on AI consulting. Thank you for coming today to Harnessing the Power of AI for Food Industry Transformation. We ended pretty much on time. Thanks to Maxine and Oshin and Taylor for your contributions and to the whole team who put this together. Let's push forward and see what we can do to transform the industry. Thank you.